It was the year 2156, and the fledgling human colonies on distant exoplanets were under constant threat. Rival alien species, hungry for the precious resources that sustained our settlements, frequently launched brazen raids and invasions. The proud colonists fought back fiercely with whatever means they possessed, but their primitive ground-based defenses were no match for the advanced aerial superiority of their extraterrestrial aggressors. In the bustling domed city of New Atlantis on the colony world of Aquaria, a young engineer named Emily Garcia watched helplessly as another convoy of supplies was decimated by hovering alien craft. Determined to find a solution, she convened a clandestine meeting with a group of like-minded colonists, maverick thinkers who shared her conviction that humanity's salvation lay not in the dirt, but in the skies above. "We can't keep relying on the planetary protection fleet for defense," Emily declared, her eyes burning with purpose. "By the time their ships arrive, our homes will be reduced to rubble. We need our own aerial superiority, something fast, maneuverable, and utterly ruthless in combat." The colonists murmured in agreement, recounting tales of harrowing alien attacks that had left their families traumatized and their communities in ruins. They had come to the same realization. If humanity was to survive on these hostile worlds, they would have to take up the mantle of aerial warfare themselves. With limited resources and only the most rudimentary technological base, the team set out to design and construct their first atmospheric craft. Progress was painstakingly slow, hampered by frequent power failures, material shortages, and the ever-present threat of alien incursions. But Emily's relentless determination and the unwavering support of her fellow colonists kept the project moving forward. Finally, after nearly a year of backbreaking labor, the first prototype was ready for testing. Dubbed the Sky Talon, the sleek, delta-winged craft rose into Aquaria's alien sky, its powerful thrusters cutting through the turbulent atmosphere. At the controls was Emily herself, her heart pounding with a mixture of exhilaration and trepidation. As the Sky Talon soared higher, Emily marveled at its maneuverability and raw speed. The craft responded to her commands with lightning precision, far exceeding the sluggish performance of the colony's existing airborne vehicles. Confident in her creation, she pushed the Sky Talon to its limits, executing tight turns, high-speed dives, and even a few daring barrel rolls. Suddenly, the colony's early warning sensors blared to life, signaling the approach of a large alien raiding party. Without hesitation, Emily throttled the Sky Talon's engines and raced toward the impending threat. Streaking across the sky like a silver arrow, she unleashed a volley of guided missiles, obliterating the alien craft one by one. The colonists watched in awe as the Sky Talon danced through the enemy formation, its deadly weapons reducing the invaders to so much smoldering wreckage. When the last alien vessel had been destroyed, a deafening cheer rose up from the settlement below, hailing Emily and her team as heroes. In the days that followed, more atmospheric craft were hastily constructed, each one incorporating the lessons learned from the Sky Talon's maiden triumph. The fledgling atmospheric combat fleet, as it came to be known, began patrolling the skies above New Atlantis, providing an impenetrable shield against further alien incursions. News of the colony's aerial defenders soon spread to other human settlements across Aquaria, and requests for assistance poured in from every corner of the planet. Emily and her team answered the call, dispatching Sky Talons and their pilots to lend their firepower to the growing fight. It was the beginning of a new era in human history, one where our species would no longer be content to cower beneath the shadows of alien dominance. The atmospheric combat fleet had been born, and with it, the unwavering conviction that humanity would one day claim the stars as its own. In the years following the triumphant debut of the Sky Talon, the atmospheric combat fleet rapidly expanded its capabilities and reach across the colony world of Aquaria. Inspired by Emily Garcia's pioneering work, teams of engineers and technicians pushed the boundaries of atmospheric flight, developing ever more advanced and deadly craft. At the forefront of this technological revolution was a brilliant young pilot named Michael Steelhawk. hailing from the sprawling industrial city of New Byzantium. Steelhawk had joined the fledgling fleet straight out of flight school, his skills and daring quickly earning him a reputation as one of the most formidable aces in the service. Assigned to lead a squadron of Sky Talons, Steelhawk dove headfirst into the task of refining the craft's performance. Working closely with the engineering teams, he helped design and test upgrades that increased the fighter's speed, maneuverability, and firepower. Under his guidance, the Sky Talon evolved from a nimble but lightly armed interceptor into a true multi-role combat platform. But Steelhawk's ambitions went far beyond mere incremental improvements. Inspired by humanity's first forays into atmospheric flight, he became determined to push the boundaries of what was possible in the alien skies of Aquaria, convincing the atmospheric combat fleet's commanders to greenlight his bold experiment. Steelhawk set to work on a new prototype, one that would shatter the sound barrier and redefine the very nature of aerial warfare. The result of his efforts was the Valkyrie, a sleek, delta-winged fighter capable of reaching speeds in excess of Mach 2. Powered by a revolutionary anti-gravity drive system and armed with a devastating array of missiles and energy cannons, the Valkyrie was a quantum leap beyond the existing atmospheric combat fleet arsenal. As Steelhawk prepared to put the Valkyrie through its paces, the colony's early warning systems once again blared to life. A massive alien invasion force had been detected, intent on scouring the human settlements from the face of Aquaria. Without hesitation, Steelhawk strapped himself into the Valkyrie's cockpit and shot skyward, racing to meet the encroaching enemy. Streaking across the alien sky like a silver comet, the Valkyrie tore through the alien formation, its energy beams slicing through the enemy craft with ease. Steelhawk's reflexes were lightning fast, his mastery of the fighter's controls absolute as he weaved and rolled, evading the desperate counterattacks of his alien foes. In a stunning display of aerial acrobatics, the Valkyrie pushed its engines to the limit, breaking the sound barrier with a thunderous boom that shook the very foundations of the colony below. Undaunted, Steelhawk pressed his advantage, raining down missiles and laser fire upon the bewildered aliens until their once mighty invasion force was reduced to little more than flaming wreckage. As the last alien vessel fled the scene, the colonists below erupted into cheers and celebrations. News of Steelhawk's triumph spread like wildfire, and soon his legend had reached the far corners of Aquaria. Pilots across the atmospheric combat fleet clamored for the chance to fly the Valkyrie, eager to experience the sheer exhilaration of breaking the sound barrier in the defense of their homes. Emily Garcia, watching the Valkyrie's maiden sortie from the command center, could scarcely contain her pride. What had begun as a humble experiment in atmospheric flight had blossomed into a formidable deterrent against alien aggression, a testament to the ingenuity and determination of the human spirit. Yet even as the atmospheric combat fleet basked in the glow of their triumph, Emily knew that their work was far from over. The alien threat remained, and they would need to continue pushing the boundaries of what was possible if humanity was to secure its place amongst the stars. With a steely resolve, she turned her attention to the next generation of atmospheric craft, already dreaming of the day when human pilots would rule the skies of Aquaria and beyond. The triumph of the Valkyrie and the growing prowess of the atmospheric combat fleet had not gone unnoticed by the alien species vying for control of the Aquarian system. Sensing the tide of battle turning against them, the disparate alien factions put aside their differences and forged a coalition, intent on crushing the upstart human colonists once and for all. The resulting invasion was unlike anything the people of Aquaria had ever witnessed. Wave after wave of alien craft poured in from the blackness of space, their advanced weaponry and sheer numbers threatening to overwhelm the defenders. In the skies above the colonies, fierce dogfights erupted as the atmospheric combat fleet's aces, led by the legendary Michael Steelhawk, fought to hold back the alien onslaught. For every Valkyrie and Sky Talon that fell, the human pilots exacted a heavy toll on their enemies. Steelhawk, his skills honed to a razor's edge, became a one-man wrecking crew, his fighter carving a path of destruction through the alien formations. Wherever the Valkyrie appeared, the tide of battle would shift. The aliens' advance slowed by the tenacity and daring of its pilot. Yet despite the bravery and sacrifice of the atmospheric combat fleet, the sheer weight of the alien forces threatened to overwhelm the defenders. The human colonies were taking heavy casualties, their defenses crumbling under the relentless alien assault. Emily Garcia, watching the battle unfold from the command center, knew that drastic measures were needed if humanity was to survive. Summoning Steelhawk and the other top aces, Emily outlined a bold last-ditch plan. While the main body of the atmospheric combat fleet engaged the aliens in a desperate holding action, a small team of the most skilled pilots would embark on a high-risk mission to strike at the heart of the enemy invasion force. The target was a massive alien mothership, a towering construct that served as the command and control center for the entire coalition. If they could destroy this vessel, the alien forces would be thrown into disarray, their advance halted long enough for the human colonies to regroup and mount a counteroffensive. Without hesitation, Steelhawk volunteered to lead the strike force, handpicking a team of the atmospheric combat fleet's finest pilots to accompany him. As the rest of the defenders held the line, the elite squadron raced toward the distant alien mothership, their Valkyries and Sky Talons streaking through the chaos of the battle above. Cutting through the enemy fighter screen with a barrage of missiles and energy beams, Steelhawk and his team pressed on, their sights locked on the ominous silhouette of the mothership. Weaving between the alien vessel's massive turrets, they unleashed a devastating salvo of ordnance, their weapons piercing the mothership's defenses and setting off a series of cataclysmic explosions. As the alien mothership teetered and began to break apart, the human colonies below erupted in cheers of triumph. The alien forces, deprived of their command and control, faltered and retreated, their once unstoppable advance ground to a halt. In the skies above, Steelhawk and his team fought their way clear of the disintegrating mothership, their Valkyries and Sky Talons emerging victorious from the maelstrom. In the aftermath of the battle, the people of Aquaria hailed the atmospheric combat fleet as saviors, their pilots elevated to the status of legends. Michael Steelhawk, in particular, was lionized as the hero who had turned the tide of the Great Xeno War, his daring strike on the alien mothership ensuring the survival of the human colonies. For Emily Garcia and the other engineers who had birthed the atmospheric combat fleet, the victory was a bittersweet one. They had lost many brave pilots in the defense of their homes, and the cost of the war had been staggering. Yet they also knew that this was only the beginning. The alien threat had been pushed back, but it would return, and humanity would need to be ready. With a renewed sense of purpose, Emily and her team set to work, already planning the next generation of atmospheric craft that would secure humanity's dominance in the skies. As the colonists rebuilt and recovered, they did so with the knowledge that the atmospheric combat fleet would always be there to guard their way to the stars. The Great Xeno War had been a devastating ordeal for the people of Aquaria, but the ultimate victory of the atmospheric combat fleet marked a turning point in the history of humanity's expansion into the stars. With the alien threat beaten back, the colonies were finally able to turn their attention to rebuilding and securing a lasting peace. At the heart of this new era of prosperity was the atmospheric combat fleet, which had proven itself to be an indispensable asset in the defense of human settlements. Under the steady leadership of Emily Garcia and the ever-watchful gaze of the legendary ace Michael Steelhawk, the fleet underwent a remarkable transformation, transitioning from a scrappy band of defenders to a highly organized and disciplined force. Steelhawk, now promoted to the rank of colonel, was tasked with training and mentoring the next generation of pilots, instilling in them the same unwavering courage and dedication that had carried the day during the Great Xeno War. His squad of aces, including the fearless Jessica Ironwing and the cunning tactician Olivia Thundercloud, became the backbone of the atmospheric combat fleet, their skills and exploits the stuff of legend. While the fleet's primary mission remained the protection of the colonies, its role quickly expanded to include a wide range of other responsibilities. Atmospheric craft were deployed to provide disaster relief, ferrying supplies and medical aid to settlements ravaged by natural disasters. Steelhawks pilots also undertook long-range patrols, monitoring the borders of human space and intercepting any potential threats before they could reach the colonies. In the bustling skies above the settlements, the atmospheric combat fleet became a reassuring presence, its sleek fighters and agile VTOL transports a common sight. Colonists would gather to watch the pilots perform daring aerial maneuvers, their hearts swelling with pride at the skills and bravery of the men and women who safeguarded their way of life. For Emily Garcia, the transformation of the atmospheric combat fleet was a testament to the resilience and determination of the human spirit. What had begun as a desperate gamble had now blossomed into an integral part of the colonial infrastructure, its influence extending far beyond the boundaries of Aquaria. As the Pax Humana took hold, the atmospheric combat fleet found itself in high demand across the expanding human settlements. Steelhawk and his pilots were dispatched to provide security and aid to colonies on distant worlds, their presence a reassuring symbol of humanity's growing strength and self-reliance. In the years that followed, the fleet's capabilities continued to evolve, with new generations of atmospheric craft rolling off the assembly lines. The Valkyrie, once a cutting-edge prototype, became the standard fighter, its design refined and improved to meet the demands of ever-changing operational environments. Jessica Ironwing, having honed her skills under Steelhawk's tutelage, emerged as a rising star in her own right, her exploits in the skies above the colonies earning her the nickname, the Thunderbolt. Olivia Thundercloud, meanwhile, proved herself to be a master strategist, her innovative tactics and uncanny ability to anticipate the enemy's moves making her an invaluable asset to the fleet's commanders. As the decades passed, the atmospheric combat fleet's legend only grew, its pilots revered as the guardians of human civilization. Wherever the colonies stretched, the iconic silhouettes of Valkyries and Sky Talons would appear, a reassuring presence that reinforced the message that humanity would never again be at the mercy of alien aggression. For Emily Garcia, watching the atmospheric combat fleet evolve from a desperate gamble into an indispensable institution, the sense of pride was tinged with a hint of melancholy. She knew that the days of scraping together prototype craft in a backyard workshop were long gone, replaced by the gleaming, state-of-the-art facilities that produced the next generation of atmospheric fighters. Yet, as she gazed out at the bustling skies above the colonies, she couldn't help but feel that the spirit of those early pioneers lived on in every pilot who took to the air, determined to defend humanity's rightful place among the stars. With a renewed sense of purpose, Emily turned her attention to the future, already envisioning the next leap forward that would cement the atmospheric combat fleet's legacy for generations to come. As the Pax Humana solidified and the human colonies continued to expand across the stars, the atmospheric combat fleet found itself thrust onto an even greater stage, one that would test the limits of its skills and technology like never before. At the helm of this new era of interstellar exploration and diplomacy was Commander Daniel Starbreaker, a brilliant strategist who had risen through the ranks to become the fleet's highest-ranking officer. Starbreaker recognized that the atmospheric combat fleet's expertise in atmospheric warfare could be a valuable asset in forging new alliances and navigating the complex political landscape of the galaxy. Under Starbreaker's leadership, the fleet began a series of cultural exchanges and technology transfers with alien civilizations, sharing the hard-won lessons of the Great Xena War in exchange for insights into their own aerial combat doctrines. Pilots like Jessica Ironwing and Olivia Thundercloud were dispatched as ambassadors, their prowess in the skies earning them the respect and admiration of their extraterrestrial counterparts. The impact of these exchanges was immediate and profound. Alien species long wary of human expansion suddenly found themselves intrigued by the atmospheric combat fleet's capabilities, eager to learn the secrets of atmospheric warfare. Starbreaker skillfully leveraged this newfound interest, negotiating trade agreements and mutual defense pacts that further solidified humanity's place in the galactic community. Yet, even as the atmospheric combat fleet's influence grew, the specter of old rivalries and tensions still loomed. When a dispute over resource-rich star systems erupted into open conflict between three powerful human factions, Starbreaker knew that the fleet would be called upon to play a decisive role in the coming war. Rallying his top pilots, including the legendary Michael Steelhawk and the rising stars Ironwing and Thundercloud, Starbreaker devised a bold strategy to prevent the conflict from escalating into an all-out cataclysm. By deploying the atmospheric combat fleet's forces as a neutral peacekeeping force, he aimed to contain the fighting and broker a ceasefire before the devastation could spread. The resulting triumvirate war was a brutal and harrowing affair, with the skies above the contested star systems erupting in a maelstrom of missile fire and energy beams. Steelhawk, Ironwing, and Thundercloud led their squadrons with unwavering courage, engaging in daring dogfights and precision strikes that kept the warring factions from delivering a knockout blow. As the battle raged on, the atmospheric combat fleet's pilots demonstrated an unparalleled level of skill and adaptability, seamlessly integrating new alien technologies and tactics into their combat repertoire. Their ability to outmaneuver and outshoot the enemy forces, regardless of faction, earned them the grudging respect of all involved. Ultimately, it was the atmospheric combat fleet's tireless efforts that paved the way for a fragile ceasefire, with the warring parties agreeing to submit to the fleet's oversight and mediation. The cost had been high, with many brave pilots falling in the line of duty, but the atmospheric combat fleet had once again proven its indispensable value to the fate of humanity. In the aftermath of the triumvirate war, the fleet's reputation soared to new heights. Starbreaker and his pilots became sought-after advisors and consultants, their expertise in atmospheric warfare and interstellar diplomacy making them invaluable assets to governments and military forces across the galaxy. For Emily Garcia, watching the atmospheric combat fleet ascend to this level of prominence was both gratifying and bittersweet. The scrappy band of colonists she had once led had grown into a formidable, highly respected institution, their influence extending far beyond the bounds of their home system. Yet she couldn't help but wonder what the future held as humanity's place in the galactic community continued to evolve. With a steely determination, Emily turned her attention to the next generation of atmospheric craft, already envisioning the technologies and capabilities that would cement the atmospheric combat fleet's status as the undisputed masters of the skies, both on distant worlds and in the vacuum of space beyond. The outbreak of the triumvirate war sent shockwaves through the human colonies as the once unified vision of expansion and exploration gave way to open conflict between three rival factions. At the heart of this bitter struggle were disputes over the control of lucrative, resource-rich star systems, as well as long-simmering ideological differences that had finally boiled over into all-out hostilities. As the warring parties mobilized their fleets and ground forces, it was the atmospheric combat fleet that found itself thrust into the role of peacekeeper and arbiter. Under the command of the steadfast Daniel Starbreaker, the fleet's pilots prepared to put their skills and technology to the ultimate test, determined to prevent the triumvirate war from escalating into a planet-shattering cataclysm. Leading the charge was the legendary Michael Steelhawk, whose exploits during the Great Xeno War had only added to his already formidable reputation. Alongside him were two rising stars, the lightning-fast Jessica Ironwing and the cunning strategist Olivia Thundercloud, each of whom had honed their skills to a razor's edge under Starbreaker's tutelage. As the first shots were fired, the atmospheric combat fleet sprung into action, its Valkyries and Sky Talons streaking across the skies above the contested star systems. Steelhawk, Ironwing, and Thundercloud, along with their elite squadrons, engaged the enemy forces with a level of coordination and precision that left their adversaries reeling. In a series of daring sorties, the fleet's pilots demonstrated a mastery of atmospheric combat that transcended faction lines. They executed tight, high-speed maneuvers, unleashing devastating barrages of missiles and energy beams that crippled the warring party's capital ships and ground installations. Yet, rather than pressing their advantage and annihilating their foes, the atmospheric combat fleet pilots pulled back, content to keep the fighting contained and the losses to a minimum. The restraint and professionalism displayed by Starbreaker's command earned the grudging respect of the warring factions, who realized that the atmospheric combat fleet was the only force capable of preventing the triumvirate war from escalating into an all-out apocalypse. Slowly, the combatants began to heed the fleet's calls for a ceasefire, wary of incurring the wrath of these elite aerial warriors. As the fighting subsided and the devastated star systems began the long process of rebuilding, the atmospheric combat fleet found itself in the unfamiliar role of mediator and peacekeeper. Starbreaker, Steelhawk, Ironwing, and Thundercloud were dispatched to the negotiation tables, their reputations and tactical expertise proving invaluable in brokering a fragile truce between the warring parties. It was a delicate and perilous balancing act, as the fleet navigated the treacherous political landscape, soothing egos and finding compromises where none seemed possible. But through it all, the pilots remained steadfast, their unwavering commitment to preserving the peace a testament to the noble ideals that had guided the atmospheric combat fleet since its inception. In the end, the triumvirate war came to a close, the warring factions agreeing to submit to the fleet's oversight and arbitration. The cost had been high, with many brave pilots giving their lives in the defense of humanity's future, but the atmospheric combat fleet had once again proven its indispensable value. As the colonists across the affected star systems celebrated the return of stability and normalcy, they looked to the skies with a newfound sense of awe and respect. The Valkyries and Sky Talons that had once been the guardians of their homes had now become symbols of a higher calling, protectors of the delicate balance that held the human civilization together, even in the face of its most bitter internal divisions. For Emily Garcia, watching the atmospheric combat fleet step into this role was both a source of immense pride and a sobering reminder of the sacrifices required to maintain peace. She knew that the battles to come would only grow more complex, the political minefields more treacherous. But with Starbreaker's steady hand at the helm and the unwavering courage of pilots like Steelhawk, Ironwing, and Thundercloud, she was confident that the fleet would continue to rise to the challenge, safeguarding humanity's future among the stars. In the aftermath of the triumvirate war, the atmospheric combat fleet found itself facing a new challenge, one that would test the limits of its skills and resources like never before. As the human colonies continued to push the boundaries of known space, expanding into the vast, uncharted frontiers, the need for the fleet's protective presence became more urgent than ever. Under the leadership of the stalwart Captain William Stormrider, the atmospheric combat fleet was tasked with securing these distant settlements, ensuring that the pioneers and settlers who ventured into the unknown would have the reassurance of aerial support should they encounter any threats. Stormrider, a seasoned veteran who had cut his teeth during the Great Xeno War, understood the daunting nature of this new assignment. The frontier worlds were unpredictable, their alien environments posing unique challenges that the fleet had yet to fully confront. But with the same unwavering determination that had defined the atmospheric combat fleet since its inception, Stormrider set about preparing his pilots for the dangers that lay ahead. The first order of business was to adapt the fleet's existing craft to the diverse conditions of the frontier. Valkyries and Sky Talons were outfitted with advanced sensor suites, capable of detecting even the slightest anomalies in the alien skies. Engines were tuned for maximum efficiency, allowing the fighters to cover vast distances without sacrificing responsiveness or firepower. As the first wave of colonists set forth, the atmospheric combat fleet was there to greet them, its pilots providing air support and emergency response to any settlements that came under attack. Whether it was fending off incursions by hostile alien species or responding to natural disasters, the fleet's presence was a reassuring constant, a symbol of humanity's indomitable spirit in the face of the unknown. Leading the charge were seasoned aces like Jessica Ironwing and Olivia Thundercloud, whose exploits during the Triumvirate War had only burnished their already formidable reputations. Ironwing, in particular, became a legend amongst the frontier colonists, her daring rescues and fearless protection of their settlements earning her the moniker, the Thunderbolt. But it was a young pilot named Lara Stormbreaker who would ultimately capture the hearts and imaginations of the frontier dwellers. Hailing from the rugged mining colony of New Hellas, Stormbreaker possessed an innate understanding of the challenges faced by these pioneering communities, as well as a fierce determination to see them thrive. Under Stormrider's tutelage, Stormbreaker quickly rose through the ranks. Her skills in atmospheric combat and her unwavering commitment to the people she protected making her an indispensable asset to the atmospheric combat fleet. Whether it was leading daring patrols through treacherous alien skies or responding to distress calls in the dead of night, Stormbreaker was always there, her Valkyrie, a beacon of hope and reassurance to the beleaguered colonists. As the years passed, the atmospheric combat fleet's presence on the frontier became increasingly vital, their pilots facing down not only the dangers of hostile alien species, but also the harsh, unpredictable environments of these uncharted worlds. Sandstorms, electrical anomalies, and other natural phenomena tested the limits of the fleet's technology and the skill of its pilots, but they never wavered in their commitment to safeguarding the well-being of the colonists. For Emily Garcia, watching the atmospheric combat fleet take on this new role was a testament to the vision she and her fellow pioneers had first conceived all those years ago. What had begun as a desperate gamble to defend their home colony had now blossomed into an integral part of humanity's expansion into the stars, the guardians of our most distant settlements. As she gazed out at the bustling skies above the frontier worlds, Emily couldn't help but feel a sense of bittersweet pride. The atmospheric combat fleet had grown far beyond the scrappy band of pilots she had once commanded, their skills and capabilities surpassing even her wildest dreams. Yet she knew that their work was far from over, for the unknown lay waiting beyond the furthest reaches of human space, and the atmospheric combat fleet would always be there to lead the way. Centuries have passed since the atmospheric combat fleet first took to the skies, and yet its legacy has only grown stronger with the passage of time. From the earliest days of humanity's expansion into the stars to the present day, the fleet has remained a constant, its pilots revered as the guardians of our civilization. At the helm of this enduring institution is Commander Evelyn Starblaze, a brilliant strategist and visionary who has shepherded the atmospheric combat fleet through some of the most turbulent eras in human history. Under her steady leadership, the fleet has continued to evolve, incorporating the latest advancements in technology and tactics to maintain its position as the undisputed masters of atmospheric warfare. Starblaze's tenure has been marked by a relentless pursuit of innovation, as she and her team of engineers work tirelessly to design the next generation of atmospheric craft. The Valkyrie, once the pride of the fleet, has been replaced by sleeker, more maneuverable fighters capable of operating not only in alien skies, but also in the vacuum of space. These new vessels, with their advanced sensor suites, cutting-edge propulsion systems, and devastating armaments, have become the centerpiece of the atmospheric combat fleet's arsenal. Wherever humanity's influence stretches, these iconic silhouettes are there, providing air support, rapid response, and a tangible symbol of our species' unwavering determination to carve out a place among the stars. But the atmospheric combat fleet's legacy extends far beyond its technological prowess. The pilots who don the fleet's iconic uniforms are revered as living legends, their exploits the stuff of heroic tales passed down through the generations. Names like Steelhawk, Ironwing, Thundercloud, and Stormbreaker have become synonymous with bravery, skill, and an unshakable commitment to the defense of humanity. It is these exceptional individuals, trained and mentored by the likes of Starblaze and her predecessors, who have truly cemented the atmospheric combat fleet's place in the annals of history. Whether it's engaging in daring aerial maneuvers to defend a beleaguered colony, spearheading diplomatic missions to forge new alliances, or providing vital aid and relief in the wake of natural disasters. The fleet's pilots are always there, ready to answer the call. As the human civilization continues to expand, reaching ever deeper into the unknown, the atmospheric combat fleet remains a constant presence, its influence and importance only growing with each passing year. Starblaze and her team of engineers work tirelessly to ensure that the fleet's technological edge remains unparalleled, while the pilots continue to hone their skills, pushing the boundaries of what is possible in the skies and beyond. For Emily Garcia, who bore witness to the humble beginnings of this remarkable institution, the pride she feels is tinged with a sense of wonder and awe. The scrappy band of colonists she once commanded has transformed into a formidable force, its reach extending far beyond the confines of the Aquarian system where it was born. Yet, even as the atmospheric combat fleet evolves and adapts to meet the challenges of a rapidly changing galaxy, the core values that have guided it since its inception remain unchanged. The courage, the determination, and the unwavering commitment to the defense of humanity. These are the traits that have defined the fleet from the very beginning, and will continue to do so for generations to come. As she gazes out at the bustling skies above the colonies, Emily can't help but smile, knowing that the legacy she and her fellow pioneers helped establish will endure long after she is gone. The atmospheric combat fleet, with its sleek fighters and its legendary pilots, will continue to soar, guiding humanity ever deeper into the unknown, a testament to the boundless potential of the human spirit.